This is sewing on paper practice 2. This is a pivoting corners practice. So just to show you the reason we do this, if you were making a pillow or any item that would need to have 2 pieces of fabric sewn together and then flipped with the right side facing out, you would need to leave an opening. So the way we represent that in sewing is you would put 2 pins right next to each other, and those double pins are going to represent an area that I am not going to sew. So if I put 2 pins there and then 2 pins over here, those 2 pins symbolize for me that I am going to start sewing here. I would stitch and backstitch, pivot at the corner, pivot at this corner, pivot at this corner, pivot here, and then when I get to these double pins, I would stop and backstitch, and I'm going to leave this area open so that I can turn that inside out. So we practice this with no thread on this handout. You have your starting place and your stopping place identified already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my needle actually get in line with the line on this practice. Previously we had lined up with the edge of the presser foot, but for this, we're gonna pretend that we've drawn in a stitching line that we need to sew right on. So the needle's gonna go in the line, and we're gonna start it at that little perpendicular line that's right here, and you'll see that on each one of these rectangles. So that is indicating my starting spot. That's the visual for you. That is the double pins on the fabric, okay? So we're gonna lower the needle, lower the presser foot, and I don't necessarily need to do reverse because there's no thread, but what I would do if I had thread and this was on a project, I would stitch forward 3 stitches, and then I would reverse 3 stitches, and then I would stitch until I got to the corner. When I get close to the corner, I'm gonna go really slow, and I have 1 more stitch, okay? Once I'm at the corner, this is important, you wanna make sure that you are pivoting. So to do that, I'm gonna leave the needle down, I'm gonna raise the presser foot, and all I have to do is I take the paper and just rotate it once. So now, when I lower that foot, my needle's gonna be in line with this line over here, or at least close to it. If you can't get your needle right on the line, just run it next to it, that's okay. Really, the most important thing is that you're practicing pivoting, okay? So I'll continue that till I get to the next corner. Remember, as I get close, I'm gonna slow it way down. I think I can do 1, maybe 2 more stitches. Now I'm gonna leave my needle down, lift the presser foot, rotate, pivot, and now I will continue that process. So I'm going to stitch all the way down, pivot, pivot, till I get to there. Alright, so now I'm on the last little spot. I'm gonna just stitch forward till I get to that line, that perpendicular line. Those are those double pins. I'm gonna reverse 3 stitches. That would be my back stitch to secure the ends, and then I'll forward 3, and now I'm done. Okay, so I'm gonna lift the needle, lift the presser foot, and if you look at the back, I don't know how well you'll see that on the camera, but you can see the holes are poked here and around, but not here. That's what I'm gonna look for. When I'm grading this, I'm gonna flip it to the back side and make sure that I don't see any stitching between the start and stop positions, okay? So now you'll repeat that practice, starting here, pivoting on all the corners, stopping at this end, and then starting here, pivoting on all the corners and stopping over there, okay?